An amazing day today at work or in business, just doing my thing for the day. It started off in the morning. I taught a cohort today, a government contracting cohort. So I taught them basically the fundamentals of contracting. And then after that call, I had a sales call, which went really well. We ended it on a very good note. We both were basically in agreement to, what we had discussed and what our way forward was. We had a plan on, what I'm going to do for the next step, and then what he's going to do for the next step, as a goal, as a kind of like a team, if you will, so that we can get what it is that he's trying to get for his team, right? For the reasons that he needs, and then also to get his leadership basically to agree with that, right? And then from my vantage point, of course, my goal is to deliver on what I said that me and my company will deliver on, and also to give them that value. And so, but it was a great call. It just had a lot of good synergy, if you will. And then after that, I had another call with a potential teammate. Kind of like an onboarding type of call. But that call went really well because of what we discussed and just some of the dialogue there. What I wanted to highlight, and one of the reasons why I know, I'm not going to say I think, one of the reasons I know that, the day went well is because I prepared, meaning that I prepared for my day. I prepared for each of those events. And there's a lot to say about preparation. There's a lot to say about being prepared for what it is that you're doing or what it is that you're going to do. So like, I taught the cohort. Now I know the class that I'm teaching, but the reason why the class was received well, they said they received it well. I had comments back, so they received it well, is because I prepared, right? So I taught the class before, but what I did was I made some changes from the previous class, because when I taught it the last time, I noticed some changes I wanted to do to make it flow better, and I made those changes, and those changes were spot on. And guess what? There's more changes I want to make. Not that it was not a good class, but recognizing that in the class when I was teaching it, there were some parts that were a little cumbersome, in that either a question came up or something like that, where it's like, oh, that piece was all the way at the end. I didn't realize it was almost at the end of the brief, which it probably should have been just a little bit closer to where we were in the dialogue, particularly because they asked that question, right? And if they don't know about contracting and all the information we had been discussing up to that point, and they had the aha moment to say, hey, what about this? Then that topic probably should be a little further forward in the brief, which is what I'm going to do for the next one. The point that I was getting at, though, is that being prepared to give the training helped me to deliver a more successful training. And by doing that, right, so by being prepared, I was confident. I had already reviewed the information, and that confidence comes out in the training and when you're facilitating. And so when it's that way, you end up relaxing your audience, if you will, and then they're more receive mode, because they don't question if you know what you're talking about or not. They let their guard down and say, okay, I think he knows what he's talking about, right? It just to the, in a reasonable way. And so they are a more receptive, but that goes back to preparation in my belief, in this case at least. And one of the things I want to say is that preparation fuels success. So not just in this case, but when I practice and train in my Tai Chi or Kung Fu, that is preparing to get better. That is preparing for my tests. I can't test until I get better, so I have to prepare for that. So by preparing, I end up training. I'm training in preparation to try to achieve the next level belt, right? So that's kind of what that is. And so preparation, very huge. And once again, it helped to fine tune that course and have it be received in such a way by the audience that, you know, these are multiple people doing multiple businesses, and they all, you know, they receive a benefit from what was being said. The other call was a sales call, and I prepared for that call, right? And so when I was on the call, I did not have to worry about thinking about numbers, or even though numbers came up and I didn't actually know the value, right? I had it on a different document, but I was so unconcerned about numbers that I was like, well, you know, I'm not good at math. I can't figure out what we're saying in our head, because my intent was not to talk about numbers. But we still did, and that's okay. But the point that I'm getting across is that I was comfortable not having that at that moment. I had other numbers, but I didn't have the figure he gave, because I didn't, you know, besides the point. But the fact I want to make is that is I focused on the need, right? The technical piece. I looked at what they already had with us, and then I looked at what we were discussing on providing for them now in a new agreement. And what we ultimately found out, you know, I knew this, but is that there's a more value in this current new package. And so the reason why that came out is by me preparing myself for the call and structuring my information of what I'm going to say on the call, because I plan on leading the call, right? I plan on directing the call. It's not that I have to speak first every time. It's just that I'm prepared to take control of the dialogue in the event that the other party is not. And also because I'm the government contracting quote unquote expert here in this case, right? And I'm selling a service of consulting and training and all of that, among some other things, also membership to a community. So it's a big time type of situation. And so had I not done my homework and I just go on the call, then I would probably be rambling through the call, and I would not give my counterpart on the other side a lot of confidence and trusting that what I'm saying with him, number one, is solid. Not that I'm being untruthful, it's just that I may not have all the facts if I'm not speaking confident enough, right? That's number one. Number two, do I have the ability to do what I'm saying that I can do, right? But you relieve those fears when you are able to speak from a position of confidence, and being prepared for an event gives you confidence. Whether you realize it or not, it gives you confidence. And I tell you, confidence is something that a lot of people don't have. And it's not necessarily easy to get. You know, I would submit that in order to start gaining confidence, you need to go through some type of rigor on a regular basis. You need to have something that's challenging your current way of doing things or thinking, that you have to, you know, interact with and engage with and make, you know, and make decisions upon, that are ultimately going to give you courage and or confidence to understand, like, yes, I stood on my square and I was proper, I was correct, I was, you know, right in this case, whatever it is. That gives you confidence that you know what you're talking about. And so you can continue on, you know, your charge of being a, you know, proficient in your field or something to that effect. Otherwise, if not, you know, having a lack of confidence may be hindering you in areas of your life, not just business, but in other areas. And so the same way that I'm speaking about preparation in this business sense that I was speaking on my day, it is very much applicable to your personal life or any facet of your life, personal, professional, what have you. prepare for your events. You may prepare for conversations with people that you're in relationship with. Not, it doesn't have to be a intimate relationship in the sense of dating or something like that. Relationships are relationships. And so, of course, we generally talk about business because we all need to be doing some type of business to make it in this world. So that's really what I keep the focus on, and that's what it's all about. So, we're all in business one way or another. You're a business owner, you're an investor, you're an employee, some way, shape, or form, you're supporting a function of business. It's just, where are you in that hierarchy, right? And so that would be what that is. Okay. So once again, preparation fuels success, and it also gives you great confidence in what you're doing, and the fact that, and obviously, if you're doing things properly, you're doing proper research, and you have the proper information, right? So just preparing is that's one thing. Is, you need to have quality preparation, quality habits, quality data. But let's say that all of that is a given, and you have that, then it's going to help you grow leaps and bounds, because one event is going to catapult you, because you're going to realize that you found a secret sauce, and then you're going to continue to use it, and it's going to benefit you in these different areas and events. And then what's going to happen is those events in and of themselves, in some way, shape, or form, will benefit you twofold, if you will. Or maybe it doesn't benefit you in the way that you originally wanted it to, and it benefits you in another way. Or maybe you weren't even expecting a benefit, right? In many cases, you're not. And what happens is, by being prepared, by doing things, by being in a position to receive because you are ready, you end up, quote unquote, lucking up on stuff. All right. So let's be prepared. Let's get ready for the work day, right? That way we're not rushing for work. Let's prepare for that meeting the next day. Yes, I know I've been doing this for 20, 30 years. Yes, I know I'm an expert. Yes, I know I'm a go-to, but that still does not mean I cannot take 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes to prepare for a meeting that could, make me $5, 10, $30,000. You see what I mean? So when you look at it like that, a little preparation, that's a small price to pay for the potential benefit. All right, you guys have a good one. I'll see you next time. This is Troy.